Wildcats and the Indiana Hoosiers, ranked 13th in the country. It's a quarterfinal with the Maui Invitation. Dave Feldman along with Digger Phelps, and here's what's happened so far. Syracuse, a huge winner over Chaminade, and Michigan, after an 0-2 start, they get a win over Detroit, and then they beat Clemson. Digger Phelps is here, and we look ahead tonight to your buddy Bobby Knight playing K-State. Both teams are undefeated. Bobby says he doesn't like playing this type of format 3 games in a row.
Well, 3 in a row, but you still got to get focused to game 1. But I really think K-State has a front line. You take a Rhodes, Dice, they have the size factor to battle Indiana on the boards. But Luke Recker, A.J. Guyton, the quickness, the speed, they've been controlling about 34 points a game in the backcourt. That opens up the front line. Hoosiers should have control. But don't forget, Indiana lost in the first half to Indiana State by 16, came back and won the game by 6. So any K-State, Indiana State, Hoosiers will play tough. They know they got a ball game with the experience factor with K-State. All right, at the Courtyard by Marriott halftime report, we'll have an update on all the games, including Georgia and Marshall. It's a one Carpenter and Bill Raftery from Maui. We'll see you at halftime.
But today, there could be a storm blowing in from Bloomington. Couple of clubs in our game tonight that are a combined 7-0, 3-0 for the Wildcats already. And the Hoosiers have already played 4 different times as they come to Maui, where they have had a very interesting history. Bob Carpenter, Bill Raftery, welcome to the Islands. Big 12, Big 10 tonight. And is Indiana good enough to challenge Michigan State in that Big 10 this year?
Bob Knight is smiling, and rightfully so. He's got a great perimeter game, and who better than Luke Recker to lead it? Great enthusiasm for the game, an understanding, takes good shots, shoots 50%, can take it to the rim, can hit the deep shot, real solid contributor. And of course, you got to play D if you play for Bob Knight.
Manny Dice, a 6'9" senior. He is so physical underneath. All the other All-Big 12 players from last year have been drafted. He's the only one that remains. Tom Asbury at the helm, Bob Knight, of course, and his Hoosiers, and William Gladness fills the same void down low. A very good athlete, good defense, and he will contest almost every shot you see when Cats come flashing down the paint. 28th year for Bob Knight in Bloomington, 622 wins. Only 12 coaches all time have won 700, and Bob has 724 under his belt. 3 national titles, 11 Big Ten titles, and 22 NCAAs. 5th year for Tom Asbury, the former Pepperdine coach. He was there for 6 years. He's got a 500 record at Kansas State, at least coming in, and now he's won 3 games this year over St. Mary's, Cal State Fullerton, and a Division II club, Washburn. Experimental rules here in Maui, like the other preseason tournaments, with the 45-second clock, the 5 mini timeouts. First one's a full when called by either club. And of course, on the free throw lines, the offensive players get to back out 10 inches more to help them not get knocked off of defensive rebounds. So pretty much the same rules that have been in effect for the NIT, the Maui, and others. And we've got the opening tap. Indiana has the basketball.
K-State, man-to-man, Bob Carpenter.
And they are an aggressive man-to-man team, Billy. Last 2 years, top of the Big 12 in field goal defense.
That was pretty easy.
Wow.
Just a screen away.
A.J. Guyton.
On the money. Straight up man, typical Bob Knight style. I think they got to take advantage inside.
There's Cortez Groves on the drive, and the rebound swept down by William Gladness. He's averaging 7 a game. Guyton on the wing for Michael Lewis, the left-hander. There's Recker, a little bit of contact, and a standing rebound. It's for Griffin on the right side. Wildcats pretty much of a motion team as well. Rhodes well off with the 3. Groves unable to knock down the follow, and then the big fella down low, Sean Rhodes, the swingman, with his first 2.
Now, in the tape Tom sent, he can make that 10-15 footer. I was surprised to see him jack that one up, but getting to the rim essential for K-State. Out of motion, move the postman around.
Gladness and Dice, tough matchup, and Manny gets the foul. This guy is really tough. Out of South High School in Wichita, where he was a 2-time All-American. And he made the All-Big 12 second team last year. 16 a game, 8 boards, and 49 blocks.
He's one of those guys when you look at him and say, you're not going to be on me all night, are you? Give me a little break here.
And on me, literally.
Little zone on the out of bounds. See, a lot of clubs do that. 2-3, nice look in the gap.
Gladness. Oh, he was blocked from behind by Rhodes. We saw today Michigan beat Clemson by using a very good zone defense early.
That's the shot.
Rhodes. Yes, and a foul.
A little closer and knocks it down. Nice hesitation. Tom Asbury, as we look at Bob Knight, Bob felt they would be physical, extremely well coached. He's enjoying this team. He enjoys this team. They have a lot of enthusiasm, and right here, just a little bit of a gamble in the open floor puts a lot of pressure on people. Nice fake there as the Wrecker sort of froze him, and Rhodes continues to drill it.
5 early for the honorable mention all-conference guy of a year ago. He's also an outstanding student, and Tom Asbury loves having him on this club. Here's Wrecker working off a pick. Quick with the release. Josh Reed kept him boxed out for the offensive follow.
A little late getting back. Dice does load up on that block, huh?
Oh, high pick from Rhodes. Hoosiers a little late in the switch.
And Griffith not as quick, but nice dump here.
To Rhodes, well short. Barely grazed iron on the way down. 5-3 Kansas State, 2 minutes in. And immediately the Hoosiers turn it over with a pass straight ahead. The diagonal, Groves, he was grabbed, no call.
And everybody in the house wanted one, but nice little play by Lewis.
Looked like Michael Lewis had him wrapped around the waist. A.J. Guyton again.
Do you remember the reputation years ago? Bob Knight walked the ball a little bit. That's a distant memory. And they push it up, look for the opportunity basket. They can score some points. You better get back.
Rhodes the jumper. Guyton skying. Loose ball. Reed uses the window. And the first 2 for Josh, a former Mr. Basketball out of Brewster, Kansas. 7-5 Cats.
Post rubs, flare, great cutting basketball team. Set their man up.
Record quiet so far. Guyton again. And dies with a good box out on the baseline. He'll release it for Chris Griffin, who played a freshman year at Washington State in the Pac-10. There's Cortez Groves out of Moberly Junior College. A guy named Mitch Richmond played there.
Well, I knew you read that earlier today. He can load it up from deep, 44%.
He's 5 out of 10 from three-point range with that make. And at the defensive end, a Kansas State foul appears to be on Josh Reed.
It just got involved a little bit, but boy, you've got to play this guy. Get an open look like that. It's very unusual against Indiana. You get that opportunity.
3 minutes and 16 seconds in. Knights Hoosiers down by 5. And a little conference with Luke Rucker, so they're running the offense without him in there. They've checked in number 11, Dane Fife, and if that name sounds familiar, he is Dugan Fife's younger brother, the former Michigan Wolverine, who's in the house tonight.
And a McDonald's All-American. Look at that nice pick down on the baseline. He's a solid performer.
Lewis, they swing it to Guyton. A.J., his second consecutive miss, kept alive by Lynn Washington. Michael Lewis was back down court guarding against the break, so it took him a while to get back into the offense. There's Washington, way short on the turnaround, out of bounds off Dane Fife.
Now, there was a play there. Fife was cutting, and he saw Washington get the post pass. He took his guy away from the action.
Bob Knight on the official on the far side, talking it over with Tony Green, who works with Edward Corbett and Bill Gracie on the crew tonight. Indiana only 2 of its first 8 from the floor. Now the Cats a little bit short with a couple. Kitt underneath. Washington lost it. Kitt finds it. Rolls it in.
That ball it's very slippery, folks. You'll see a lot of perspiration on the ball. Guys just can't squeeze it. Clear out. And Griffith unable to contain. Good explosion by Lewis.
We've got a big crowd in here tonight because the Indiana folks in all their red and white have come in force. It's a little muggy, a little slippery, and it's pretty good for K-State, up by 7. And for that club that'll play hard for 40 minutes. He thinks this one could be that club. Doesn't happen very often, though.
40 minutes playing this game well is maybe impossible. I mean, I don't know how many. I must have coached 1,000 games in my coaching career, and I bet we haven't had 5 games where we played really well for 40 minutes. And that's obviously the objective that you have, but I think what you're trying to do is get as close to playing 40 minutes as possible. The more minutes that you play well, the harder you are to beat.
Well, Bob was close. Tonight he's coaching in his 995th game of ones that count.
And you figure all the Olympic games and things of that nature, exhibitions, throw them in.
Indiana with a basketball, right side. Michael Lewis, we've got a whistle away from the ball. Tony Kitt was over there of Kansas State dealing with Dane Fife. Tony Kitt will get his first. Number 00, Josh Kim in there for Kansas State. Paco May in the backcourt as well.
Fife trying to post up. They don't stay long. 2-second count and get out. Go head hunt.
Lewis looking for Guyton. Luke Recker still not back in the game after a slow start. Lewis flashing to the baseline and draining the jumper, averaging 4 a game. The junior out of Jasper, Indiana.
Outstanding high school scorer, though, Bob. Can fill it up. Running the point right now.
Yeah, over 2,100 points in his high school career. A Mr. Basketball runner-up. And that's saying something in the Hoosier State.
Nice little duck in here.
Good look. Kitt off the glass.
Kitt.
Tony Kitt with a couple of field goals off the bench.
Kitt with a kiss.
14-7, Kansas State.
Got to root him out of there. Don't let him post up.
Guyton left May in his wake. Feeds for Gladness. The rebound, Washington. He'll kick it. Lewis over to Fife. And the 3 was short. They had a couple of good looks there.
Very unselfish by Lewis.
Rhodes, the big man for Kansas State, early on 2 possessions. Good look, and Kitt has 3 in a row as the big fellas work together very well.
They are. They're bumping and diving to the box, and not good interior post defense by Indiana early.
Kansas State by 9 in the first 6 minutes. Michigan surprising Clemson on this court a couple of hours ago. We thought the Tigers were the favorite to get through to the semifinals. Guyton the miss, and Rhodes the K-State rebound.
A great look. He used the post and then backed off to the corner. A little flare backwards. You got to make those shots so they're getting good looks.
Kitt was already down when he received the pass from Rhodes. Here comes A.J. trying to blow by his man. Paco May on the foul.
Now for players at home, that's a great little play to flare. But here's the post position defensively. He can't get over in front. Kept his body moving, then uses the glass nicely. The counter. Come back to it. This is an area of concern Bob Knight expressed before the game. They're big, they're tough, and they know how to get it inside deep.
A couple of Indiana players making their first appearances. Kirk Haston is in. Rob Turner checks in. Manny Dies is back for the Wildcats.
And Turner can knock down those jump shots. Here he gets a quick early look.
Luke Recker back in, handling it, top of the circle. A 6'6" point guard in this situation.
They got some perimeter people. Can handle and fill it. Fife being one of them out here. Nice duck in there. Oh, he should have kept coming left.
That was Haston with the pass, and then he's on the back of Kitt. But Tony Kitt, who's had a pretty good impact since coming in, 6 points, and that was his 2nd rebound.
And Dies holding off pretty strong. Nice loop, huh?
Good seal. Couldn't finish. Got tied up with Haston, and a whistle. The arrow belongs to Kansas State. Not that big of an Indiana club, Billy. You mentioned their perimeter game. That is their definite strength.
I think they're going to force you to adjust, though, as the year goes on. You're going to have to take somebody out and play these perimeter people.
Kurt Haston at 6'10", the only big fella, and he's not a starter.
And he's been impressive in the games that I've seen.
Dies for Reynolds. Rattles home the deuce. Travis Reynolds, a freshman. He was an All-American last year at Junction City, Kansas, Oklahoma State, Nebraska. The Jayhawks and New Mexico all recruited him.
And Josh Kim with a good, quick chest pass to get him the open look.
Turner for Recker. They're really clogging up the middle well, and they can't hit anything outside, but Fife draws a 3-shot foul as Cortez Groves goes out to get him.
And what happens, I think, watching Luke Recker, you get the legs of the opponent and the ability, of course, the little post, it's tough enough. Dies has got the body, then he holds the shirt, and you can just see there.
Oh.
I think Dies shoved him into the foul. Well, that's one way of stopping somebody from a deep 3.
Gain Fife. A Michigan kid out of Clarkston. His dad, Dan, was his high school head coach, just like Dugan's, but this is a young man who always wanted to play for Bob Knight. And he was really not that serious about Michigan blue.
He's going to be a great performer, but as a freshman, sometimes you got to learn to relax, fit in. And Dugan's been running around Lahaina here, having a good time. Got to see his alma mater play and win, and then check his brother out.
That was Chris Griffin who checked back in. Larry Richardson for the Hoosiers, first time. Dane Fife, also a 3-year starter at quarterback in high school. He threw for better than 4,200 yards and almost 40 touchdowns. They love his leadership as a young player.
I asked Dugan who was the better quarterback. He said he was. Typical family strife.
Cortez Groves on the quick catch.
Quick catch and turn, too. May have gotten away with a step as he turns to the goal. They've got strength and speed for Tom Asbury. Nice combo. I think his daughter bought that shirt.
Tom looking
to be complimented.
Well, he may have that shirt left over from Pepperdine.
The way right out there in that beautiful Malibu area.
Oh yeah. Griffin on the offense. Dane Fife on him. Groves, the quick release. Reynolds, good position. He got in a little too deep, and Haston picks it up for the Hoosiers. 8 minutes in, 18-8. Kansas State off to a great start here in Maui. It's their first time ever playing Indiana here, and the turnover. Larry Richardson.
Yeah, not a good play. The win, you want to contribute. Don't cause problems for your team on the offensive end.
One coach is pleased and one obviously not. Out rebounding Indiana 14-5 and leading by 10. Syracuse knocked off Chaminade 82-44 in routine fashion today. Michigan got wonderful heroics down the stretch from Lewis Bullock and Robbie Reed, their point guard. Those guys hit some unbelievable threes, and they knocked off Clemson. And yes, we would consider that an upset because the Tigers were ranked in this week's poll at number 24.
And judging from workouts, you thought Clemson could come in and handle them as well. Jimmy Boeheim's got some depth. That should be an interesting game.
That was a Michigan team that started 0-2 with the steal by Fife and the finish, Rob Turner.
Fife has poise. He really understands the game. Great step in, and then the pass for the finish.
So Indiana turning defense into 2 to get back to within 8.
And they got to step it up, particularly in the post game.
Groves for 3. Backdoor rebound, Dies waiting. Rebound swept away, Larry Richardson.
A little more off the dribble than he knew years ago. They'll let guys pry with the nice flare out. Once Turner able to knock shots down.
They've kept Recker quiet. Little 2-man game between him and Turner. Baseline left, Haston. Ball nearly missing everything. And the Kansas State rebound for Josh Reed.
Yeah, he does have some offense, though.
Rhodes thinking about the 3 over Haston.
Dies with that little duck in, Bob. You mentioned before, trying to seal off a physically impressive specimen. I would certainly Dies to have that body myself.
He goes 6'9", 235, Manny Dies. Out of Wichita. They produce some great basketball talent over the years. Fife will get a nice hand as he sits down. Xavier going triple figures tonight. St. John's a little tune-up for the NIT, huh?
Getting ready.
How about that, playing a game
right in
the middle of the tournament?
That may be a first. Well, you better get some rest for Stanford. Would you suggest?
They better have some cold packs and some anti-inflammatories ready for Thanksgiving morning after taking on that Cardinal club.
Mike Montgomery has a physically demanding team.
I'm still sore from watching them twice.
Well, that's your legs from shaking at Maples.
This floor at least stands still in Maui. 18-11 Kansas State. We're nearing the 10-minute mark first half.
K-State's got to go inside. They did a nice job early. Keep going after it. Good ball movement here.
Griffin on the wing for Reed. The dribble penetration. Rhodes keeps it alive. He was probably over the top.
That does get you up a little higher.
And that'll be his first.
He took the easy roads on that one. Tom not real happy with the call. Thought it was clean.
Speaking of St. John's, they're number 23 in our ESPN poll this week. And they've got a tall task against the nation to be the Friday night after Thanksgiving.
Now, players forget what got them there. And what got K-State in this control was dumping it low, but now they're doing a lot of stuff on good penetration. Oh, that'll make you smile.
Paco May couldn't get it to drop. It'll be A.J. Guyton with his first. Paco May, a very interesting story. A fifth-year senior out of Lancaster, Texas. Billy, it takes all he can just to stay out there without getting sick.
I know you're going to be. Isn't that amazing? IU me to the goal, and unfortunately, during the course of different games, has some difficulty keeping his food down.
He has a little skin disorder on his face, and he has an intestinal disorder, which causes him, well, quite honestly, to vomit during ball games. Sometimes he just can't keep food down. He wasn't going to play. They had so many injuries. He went to Tom Asbury and said, hey, I can gut this out for 3 more months. And here he is playing. They'll have to be careful with him. And he's got a couple of free throws for his 53-year-old head coach, Tom Asbury, and the Cats on top of the Hoosiers now, 20-11.
And yeah, I think they're going to make K-State work here. Over the top as Recker, multi-purpose offensive performer. Can beat you a lot of ways. Out, bounce, or post.
He has not scored yet. He draws the foul, though, on Josh Reed.
You get a different feeling watching Indiana. The feeling of the staff. They're enjoying one another. They feel confident. You can get a lot done. Struggling out of the gate. Digger mentioned the Indiana State game. How halftime really down. Reach back. Good unit to work with, according to the coaches.
Well, Rutgers had 3 straight 20-point games this year after getting 19 or so in the opener. There's Ron Felling alongside Bob Knight, longtime partners.
Great high school coach on his own. You mentioned Recker with points, 19 double figures last year. He can fill it up. 2013.
Josh Kim handling it, the freshman for K-State.
Kid, a little hard.
Yep, he fired a fastball off the hands of Josh Reed. 5 Kansas State turnovers in the first 10 minutes and 3 seconds of the game. Now we'll see how Indiana handles it this trip down the floor. Guyton for Recker. Turner. They got some of their gunners standing on that perimeter. Luke Recker.
Offensive foul. Once again, the second one on Larry Richardson. They started to get some motion. All he had to do was freeze and stand still. What a nice look for Recker, though. The activity without the basketball is fascinating and yet frustrating if you're the defender. And they just keep moving. You can see Richardson hit and slide. You got to be perfectly still.
Kidd, tough catch. Kept his dribble somehow. Backdoor, Paco May.
May have been a pass.
Paco with 4.
Only attention at Kidd. Nobody able to check out on Paco.
22-13 Kansas State. Winner of this game will play the winner of Utah, Arizona State. That's coming up tonight, 11:30 Eastern. We'll switch over to the Deuce to bring you that one.
Yeah, you got to take that little foul line jumper there. Rob Turner, good spot. Not good play here.
Reed snuffed it out. Haste in the turnover. Reed, nobody to rebound. He calmly knocks in the 3.
Well, you better make that. That's one that gets you the little hook if you don't make it. But he's got great confidence. Tough player, really hustles hard, and Luke got away with. Now he got called for it. He stuck the derriere out. Not a good play. And Indiana played a little rattled basketball early here. Josh Reed able to get the referee's attention.
16 fouls on Indiana. One thing about the Hoosiers in this game, if they're behind, they may get a chance to make a comeback at the free throw line. Kansas State gets a lot of fouls. They have 8 already. Here's a steal, and it'll be Recker from Guyton.
Send it in. Luke Skywalker all set up by the D. They need some easy hoops to get out of their lethargy.
The preseason All-American A.J. Guyton with the steal to set up the easy 2. Hoosiers back to within 10. Paco May stopping the left-hander. Yes!
Well, he may get an upset stomach, but I'm sure Tom Asbury feels very comfortable. Heck of a decision on the release. Able to incur the wrath and still knock it down. Well, part of getting it inside is to use the bounce, and that's what Tom's guys have done. Post defense improved by Indiana. Well, put it down and be rewarded. Now, how about this ability to step through, take a little knock, and Turner, I thought, stayed off him. Should just give him a goal and go the other way.
Paco comes off the bench. He has 7. Running down near the 8-minute mark. And it's Kansas State by 13 early.
See how perfectly still some of the post guys are.
Whoops. Ball bounces off the floor away from A.J. Guyton. 3-on-2. Paco May hangs, and this guy's got 9 in just a matter of minutes.
I'll tell you, the defense was spectacular there on that fast break, but he negated it with a heck of a move and great control, a high dribble. I don't think the hand ever went over the top on Mike Lewis.
Kansas State with its largest lead, 30-15. 7:52 first half. This will not be a pleasant huddle for the Hoosiers, but the Cats out of Manhattan feeling very much at home on Maui. Paco May has been the big story for K-State on 4 games.
I'll tell you, it takes a lot of courage, and you got to love the game. My alumni used to get an upset stomach watching me perform.
Kansas State, 12 for 26 so far. Indiana, a surprising only 5 for 16. And the defensive foul, Lynn Washington clutching and grabbing for that basketball.
A little overzealous on that one. Good pressure. All you got to do was trace the basketball, and everybody else denied. It could have come up with a jump ball situation. And, of course, it would have favored them.
Missouri still reeling from an NIT loss at home last week. One Big 12 team, A&M. And we've got Kansas State here, the 1-1 miss by Griffin. And Lynn Washington, the JUCO transfer from San Jose City College, ripping it down.
Now, one thing Indiana's been behind this season, so they understand how to be patient, take it easy. Don't rush, take good shots, and creep back into it.
Record taking Groves down to the baseline. Cortez with his second.
See, he's a tough matchup. Remember before you were talking about the size? They can play smaller, almost like Don Nelson's whole philosophy with Milwaukee and then Golden State. Make you change your lineup. Luke can play out or be the small forward.
He can score so many different ways. 13 a game last year as a freshman. Made the All-Big Ten team as an honorable mention. As Billy mentioned, 19 double figures games, led by 29 against Penn State. Came up big in the NCAA against Oklahoma. Oh, he misses again.
That's unbelievable.
Cortez Groves the rebound.
They're really off their game. He plays with a great deal of enthusiasm.
Indiana 4 out of 10 from the line, and we saw Clemson lose a close game today by 3 when they were 7 of 18 from the stripe in the first half. That's a 5-second call. So bad free throw shooting in the first half can eventually cost you the ball game.
Now that timeout, Bob Knight, I'm assuming now, addressed defense because they've had 2 good trips other than the foul earlier. I mean, good solid control. Good look here.
Oh, Record. A quick catch. How quick was that release?
Unbelievable. Snatch and deliver.
Luke Recker with 7. Rhodes with the answer. Wow.
I take that back. Tapes I saw, 15-18. He can knock the 3.
Sean Rhodes with 8 on the night.
36% last year. That'll get you some attempts.
And the Wildcats, their biggest lead again. This time it's 16 points. It was 30-15 at the break.
A little bit of congestion. Guys cutting the same direction.
Little pick and roll by Haston.
Indiana likes to give guys a chance to run their play. Same play.
Recker flashing into the paint. Paco May puts his hand up.
I'll tell you, look at Recker. He's trying to show some enthusiasm, trying to drive the cart right now. Set your man up, come off. He can take a hit, a little shove from the rear. Otherwise, he would have made that shot. But he comes right in. Come on, you guys, let's step up. We're not playing up to our ability.
Well, I know why Paco May put his hand up, because that's number 3 on Cortez Groves. So Kansas State, maybe some foul trouble brewing. Remember, they're a very physical pressure man-to-man team, and they do draw a lot of fouls. And Ty Sims, the senior forward out of Minneapolis, gets the call.
They do run some numbers, Bob, too, which could be a problem down the road for Indiana.
Record the miss. Washington tried to get it. 33-18 Kansas State.
Now check the D. Kansas State has to be patient, make their cuts, and this is where it starts well for them, I think.
Reed penetrating along the left side, and he got the roll. Josh Reed with 7 now.
And Sims, and they say he's like Charles Barkley. What a path he created with the hole.
A.J. Guyton way out there.
Didn't say healthy.
That's 8 for A.J. Indiana came into this game shooting the three 41% through their first 4 games. Rhodes for 3. How about this big fella?
And what a nice diagonal screen by Sims, and Indiana, who likes to switch that.
You know,
nobody reacted.
For a guy from Wichita, he looks like he's from Sarajevo. 6'11", shooting the 3. It won't go for A.J. at the other end, and Rhodes has the rebound. He has 11 points and 7 boards here in the first half.
Indiana's got to make him use some clock this trip. He's scoring easily.
Griffin got the roll. How sweet is that?
That's a Maui bounce, huh? Block out with that.
That's his first basket for the senior out of California. 40-21 Kansas State. Gladness on top. Wrecker way up there. It just did hit the net as it missed the iron completely.
Well, a guy that big that can shoot that well, you better get out and jump out on him. He's having a ball right now, all because of good, solid screening.
Well, they say Rhodes is their best player overall. He's the finesse guy. Dyes is the big bumper down low. They're a very good combination, although Manny's not in the game right now because of his 2 fouls. There's the entry. The jump hook. Oh, great box out as Kitt got offensive rebound position, backdoor, and he couldn't keep it.
They are out hustling him, really.
They almost had an easy 2
Sure
right there.
did. A very good inside position.
Tom Asbury has to be very pleased. His Cats forecast to finish 6th in the Big 12 this year. Oklahoma State, Kansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, and Texas, the top 5 in the preseason poll.
Give him a clear. Nice hand in the passing lane.
Josh Reed. This is Fife. Lewis the entry for Washington. They've been quiet inside, and he was short with the jumper. Good hustle by Michael Lewis to get it back. The dish. A block by Kitt, and then finally the basket.
Boy, did he hang tough.
Lynn Washington, he found his way from San Jose to Indiana. He wanted to play for Bob Knight coming out of the JUCO ranks, and at the other end now he gets his 2nd foul.
A little bagging in the box area. As we were up in that area of the country up at Stanford, they were talking about it. They think he's a solid basketball player. Trent Johnson, the assistant to Mike Montgomery. But here, you better check your incisors. K-State has some strength and weight. You can see the discard there.
Tony Kitt out of Charlotte. Played at tiny Elon College, just outside Greensboro, the Winston-Salem area. In 96, didn't play at all in 97. Then he went to JUCO, and here he is with Kansas State as a junior. I guess Dick would call him one of his all Marco Polo guys. He's been all over the place.
Give him a roadmap. Rotating by Tom Asbury has been sensational. Fresh bodies.
10 guys have played, Bill.
Yeah.
41-23 Cats. Fife on top for Lewis.
Conversely, a lot on the perimeter by Indiana, not able to really knock him down in the inside area.
Lewis to the wing. A.J. Guyton, a tough little catch. Here's Fife penetrating to the free throw line.
Good seal, good help. Everybody on the weak side got a hand ready.
Paco May got his hand up in Guyton's face. Shot clock still only at 12 on the 45-second clock.
Good, solid defensive stance this trip.
Now it's down to 6. Guyton rims out. Tony Kitt, the Kansas State rebound, and that's his 5th of the game to go with 7 points.
Ball not reversing. I think they got a timeout or a clock problem. Ball's not reversing. A lot with the dribble by Indiana, and they're known for their screen and make a good solid cut, get themselves into a passing lane.
Timeout on the floor.
They'll go ahead and take the under 4-minute timeout and sort out the clock situation. And Tom Asbury's Cats on top by 8 any hour of the day. 2 players for Kansas State Sean Rhodes and Tony Kidd have 13 rebounds, more than the entire Indiana team.
And right now, Kansas State's got to be ready because you know Indiana's going to tighten it up defensively, take it to them the next 3 minutes and get it to 10. And then on the other end, I think you'll see a change in the offensive maneuvering of Indiana.
Final 3 minutes before halftime.
And they switch out and cause the walk by Fife. Earlier, remember, screen, nobody popped out on Rhodes. That time, attentive to detail.
So Dane Fife has been responsible for a couple of Kansas State turnovers.
There's a different look. See a little triangle in the lane.
Washington high post. Waiting for Guyton. Then the entry for Gladness, who's been really quiet. And William finally gets it. His first basket of the night. He's averaging 12 a game.
The man doesn't win 724 games. I've fallen asleep over there. He realizes they're off their game, a little bit rattled. Runs a set play out of the timeout.
Reynolds penetrating. Paco May can't knock it down. Suddenly Gladness comes alive.
And a smile on the bench as well.
His 4th rebound. Well, that's telling you something when the general smiles. And here's Fife. Great look, Gladness. Stuffed by Rhodes. Still has it. Gets it in.
I thought it should have been a jump ball. I guess he may have dropped it. We're blocked out a little bit. Big stop here for Indiana. K-State's got to run get it inside, I believe. Now,
there's the steal. It was Lewis on the deflection. Hoosiers with a chance to get it back to maybe 11 here. They'll settle for 12 as AJ gets into double figures.
Have you ever seen a better timeout utilization? They stepped it up on the D. Well, that's why he's so respected. Extraordinary defensive stance, the ability to take good shots, trademark of IU.
With Indiana, a 6-0 run over 1 minute 23 seconds from timeout.
Well, I think a few pounds lighter a few years ago, a little darker on top. It may have been him.
These are crucial 90 seconds for Kansas State, and Rhodes gets it to drop. What a first half for Sean Rhodes.
Big basket off that timeout. They were white knuckle time for Tom.
He has 13 points, and it was a very quick hit, Bill.
Got to get it off the floor. They weren't doing the count. They're backing off, respecting the inside. Now they're giving him the outside shot.
Lewis on the drive. The kick for Gladness. Little long. Griffin ripping down the rebound for Kansas State. So they score and then survive Indiana's trip down the floor. They have a great opportunity here to have a huge halftime lead.
Oh, and what a gamble by Fife, and it pays off. And Gladness was ready to react on the back cut. He just left his man. Well, that's confidence for a young guy.
11 Kansas State turnovers, and they still lead by 14. You would have told me that stat at halftime. I thought they'd be down by 14. Gladness on the wing for Fife. Final 30 seconds. Gladness becoming more of a factor. Watches from one side as Washington goes in. And the travel before the foul.
I'll tell you,
Bill Gracie, the trail official, saw what you did, Bill.
Yeah, he did. Lynn Washington in the midst of a pretty good move, and Bob Knight you can't blame for begging. He's at the other end, but poise under duress was lacking.
What a big break for Kansas State now. They can play for one. Paco May on the dribble. Well, forget playing for one.
Oh my goodness, what a great play, huh? Oh.
Sean Rhodes with 15.
Great look.
2 seconds to go. Lewis. And it's 45-29 at the half. Kansas State. Tom Asbury's Wildcats were a very late addition. The final team put into the 8-team bracket for Maui. And guys, Dave and Digger, it looks like they were the first team chosen the way they're playing right now.
All right, Bob, thank you very much. Coming up on the courtyard.
But Sean Rhodes, the big story they have, Billy, scoring, rebounding, even a couple of block shots.
And Tom Asbury's poised too late. Had to get some baskets, who to go to, but Sean Rhodes. I mean, he stepped out, excellent stroke, proving he can make that three, and also the ability to get himself in position to dominate. And this is a wonderful look by Kit. And this is when they were on the ropes. That jumper and then dive to the tin and to send it in. 15 points, 2 for 4 from 3.
7 rebounds, couple of blocks. He played 16 minutes. The main man for Tom Asbury. And keep in mind, Manny Dice only played 5 minutes. He will be fresh. He'll be pushing the Hoosiers around. Indiana shooting only 11 of 29. And the free throw shooting, look at that. 5 out of 12. You do not normally see that from a Bob Knight team with all those great fundamental shooters. Hoosiers with it. For the first time, we see Luke Jimenez, number 12, bottom of your screen.
Doesn't make mistakes, Bob. Decent, deep shooter, solid defender. Step through.
Washington, too strong. And a foul.
Dies, I believe, Bob.
Another one?
Yeah, I think so.
That would be his third very quickly.
Not ready for the inbounds pass, K-State. And Rhodes continues to shine.
So Manny Dice has played 5 minutes and 20 seconds of this game and has 3 fouls.
They are a physical team. Nice little space cut. Look at the duck in by Dice.
Reed working around a Dice pick, way too far off the glass. Here comes William Gladness and the Hoosiers. He gives it off for A.J. Guyton. A.J. got them started offensively first half and then went real quiet, as did the entire club. Washington right at Dice and over him a little bit long, and not a bad piece of strategy.
And he
if
went
you're
away.
trying to foul a guy out.
You think he went away, though, Bob? Go at him.
Griffin trapped. Hoosiers kick it out. This is shaping up as a pretty tough day for ranked teams. Number 24, Clemson, beaten by Michigan. Hoosiers down in this one. They're 13th. And coming up, number 21, Utah. A really not easy game against Arizona State. Here's Griffin.
Oh, did he body him off? Guyton trailed all the way with a heads-up play by Griffin.
4 for Chris.
Guyton really has been quieted. Crisp cuts. Things are jammed up just a little too much, I think.
Guyton rattles in the 3. A.J. with 13.
They need him to open things up.
They really have had very little indoors. Everything's been outside in this game. They're down by 15. Plenty of time to get back.
And what's nice about K-State, they've been doing it low or moving outside, particularly Rhodes. Screen and drift. Look at the Dice duck in.
Here's Groves. Yes! And it's an Indiana foul.
He opened it up, though, with that move to the 3-second lane. Dice took people and then a penetration.
That'll be 2 on William Gladness.
Dice takes up so much area. You can see the explosive maneuver to the goal as Cortez Groves. Solid performer and not a bad call either.
Gladness the box out. 49-32 Kansas State. Here's Guyton taking his man right to the baseline, and Griffin blocked him. Recker for Jimenez. The
Nice
entry,
play.
Gladness. Boom!
Well, a little happiness for William. Jimenez contributes. Nice slip to the 10.
49-34. Gladness with a half dozen. They need a lot more out of him.
K-State's always had the poise, though, to make good decisions.
Remember that little mini 6-0 run by Indiana a minute before halftime. Wildcats gathered themselves. Can't this time. Lynn Washington the rebound. Here comes A.J.
Nice run there by Recker, and good judgment by Guyton holding on.
Guyton working off a Washington pick. Yeah, that's a 3. He has 16, and here come the Hoosiers.
Bob.
Asbury wants a timeout.
Using the bumps. And Tom knows they're running their offense right now.
He's going to let him go ahead and play now. First he wanted to stop it. Now they turn it over. Maybe they should have stopped it.
Great defensive maneuver by Recker.
Hoosiers down by a dozen. They could get it to single figures. A.J. again. Just won't rattle in for him. And Josh Reed, the Kansas State rebound.
A little life in this building all of a sudden, too.
Well, there should be. It's almost all Indiana fans.
Griffin's got to get them organized now.
Griffin
can
for
make
Rhodes. Can he do it again? Not this time. Luke Recker, the box out. His first rebound.
They're glad this sets up real deep. They didn't utilize it.
Guyton for Jimenez. Thought about the three. And he sets a pick. Guyton around Rhodes. Lost the handle on it. Washington gets it. I thought he was going to go right back up strong. Here's Gladness.
Steps or a push into the walk. Yep. Good call.
Josh Reed the foul, his third.
Starting to utilize at least with touches down on the box area. And K-State maybe losing a little of that energy and denying the inside pass.
Some foul trouble for Tom Asbury. Dice has 3. Reed has 3. And the Hoosiers are bombing their way back with a 12. And we've got another one for you later tonight at 11:30 Eastern on the Deuce. Pac-10 Arizona State, the WAC Utah. These winners will match up in the bottom half of the bracket tomorrow night after Syracuse takes on Michigan. So switch over to the Deuce with us later for the Sun Devils and the Utes. Bob Carpenter, Bill Raftery at the Lahaina Civic Center. And a big change of momentum, Billy, in this second half.
And now the zone on the inbounds pass. If it works, you may see a pull of the defense.
Jimenez for Recker for 3.
Short.
Well short.
Good hustle.
Gladness. That'll keep it for the Hoosiers. William Gladness out of bounds off Tony Kidd.
Good heads-up play. And Luke just pulled the string on that one. Not a good look. Not a good pass. Right into the 3-second lead to a guard. Even though Fife has got some size, you just want to enter the pass. And Jimenez usually makes good decisions.
Here's Kim hooking
Nice
it
play.
around. Gladness forcing the steal. 5-on-2. And a blocking foul against Josh Kim. If nothing else, he stopped it from a slam that would have gotten these Indiana folks up off their feet.
A good giveaway.
3 team fouls on Tom Asbury's Cats.
And just great post defense here as Gladness deflects, offers it up, and then the small change give up, which negates the break.
5 for Recker.
And they go straight up man-to-man this trip.
Gladness up high. He's got Haston to his left. He turns. He scores.
A nice little touchdown in that box. He's a comer.
The redshirt freshman out of Tennessee with his first basket of the game. Indiana has it back to 10. Here's Kitt. Wow. I thought he was going to finish that play. And then Paco May does with the 3.
And he's posing all the way to the backcourt with that stroke. Bill Bradley-like finish and follow through.
He's got 12 points. He's only played about 15 minutes off the bench in this game. And he got sick leaving the court at halftime as well. Recker the entry for Haston.
Little jump hook down there as well. Now 2 guys cut in the same direction.
Now Gladness on this side. Plenty of time of the shot clock at about 18. Cortez Groves forcing the foul on Fife.
And the only way he could hold them off was to give it away. Protecting the ball. And that's part of growing as a basketball player, too. You're a freshman. Usually you understand what you can do against almost everybody. And all of a sudden it might be a little stronger guy who reacts pretty well. And he's had great self-control with this team.
Bob Knight checks in. A.J. Guyton, Luke Jimenez has left. Paco May can't knock that one down. And Dane 5 with the Indiana rebound.
And a good screen down, too. Gave him a good look. Here's another screen down.
Guyton, he knew he missed it. It's like a guy with a bad putt. He started walking toward it as soon as he let it go.
I've seen you do the Zorro.
That's Griffin on the drive. And Dane 5 will foul him, his second.
Yeah, they've had some answers, K-State, though. Got it to 10, come down, make a good jump shot.
Manny Dice coming back in now. Michael Lewis returns for Indiana. So Kansas State gets more physical and tougher, and Indiana gets a little bit of the same. And they get the good passer Lewis in there along with his toughness. Manny for Kitt. Paco May, he's got Griffin to his left.
A good penetrating dribble. Look at this screen.
Griffin working around everybody. Ball kind of slipped out of his hands. Tony Kitt What a great role player he's been off the bench. His forte is rebounding. He has 9 points in this game.
I'll tell you, his passing has been terrific too, but not good reaction by Indiana.
Haston for Lewis.
They front nicely. Look at this help by Dyes.
Haston on Kit. Rejection over the baseline.
Now the postman has arrived. Little body and then the elevation. You got to do a little more than just the turnaround J here. Maybe reverse pivot, give it back out, duck back in.
Jared Odell, 43, checking in for Indiana.
And one.
Oh, Gladness.
Boy, nice hang time, too. The ability to linger between floors as Anthony Kit right there, finally to reach down late. Once in a while, they've been able to control the low box, but K-State has been solid. A little bit of a rattler at the end. K-State's the kind of a team that's confident. They don't seem to be one that's going to use the clock until they have to late. And they're going to run their stuff. First good one that comes for Tom. Good, solid screening team.
Handling it, Josh Kim for K-State.
Look at Dyes' body, Gladness. Good kick.
That draws a double. Kim, boom, the three. Josh Kim, an All-American at Cedar Rapids, Iowa's Prairie High School last year. What a big basket. Even more Kansas State depth with that shot.
Great look. Well, that'll help too. It helps the post guys. Lewis with the deep threat.
Michael Lewis. That three gives him 5 on the game. 57-43 K-State. Griffin. Look at Kit. He is so strong and quick. Coaches will tell you he has a way of getting his hands on the ball that makes him a good rebounder. And he's done some serious garbage picking on there this morning, tonight, because he's really controlled the boards of the offensive end and gotten a lot of easy baskets.
He's got a great body, Bob, up top, and he's able to push people in a legal fashion.
Lewis high post for Gladness. Recker for Guyton. Nice move to the left.
Big time blow by into the 10. And defense lacking.
Turned that shoulder to the right.
Yep.
Suddenly he was gone. Hoosiers get it back to 12.
K-State's always done the right thing when it gets around that 10-point mark.
Paco May. Finger roll. Won't go. Got his own. Couldn't drop it. Gladness outlets. And here comes AJ in Indiana with a chance to get it back to 10, maybe 9.
Good control there.
We've got a push on the Guyton dribble.
May with good footwork to take away the initial thrust. Yeah, I'm impressed with K-State.
Yeah.
I mean, big, strong, run their stuff, understand where to punishing you.
A long way to go in the lead. This is probably as nervous as you ever are up by a dozen, because Bob Knight's on the other bench, and they are so explosive with Guyton. You know Luke Rucker's going to break out sooner or later.
And the one thing I've noticed, and Bob mentioned, their defense is not there yet. And that's what they're going to have to do, tighten it up at that end. I think get some inside points. They go to zone once again on the inbounds pass.
Gladness in there with Jared Odell down low for Indiana. Turner,
He can drill it.
little long, Gladness. Now he'll turn into the paint.
Oh, Griffin got away with one there.
Yep. Griffin for Groves. Woo! Rejected, but a foul before the shot maybe on Michael Lewis.
Good hustle by Guyton. Unfortunately for Indiana, Gladness had a few scrapes and bumps and bruises. And this is not going to help the cause. The turnover in that area, you don't get the proper balance. And Griffith has been solid. Good leadership qualities and the help by Guyton late.
Cortez Groves, you can see the JH on his jersey. Wildcats paying tribute to the late, the great Jack Hardman, their all-time leading coach with 295 wins. We lost him a couple of weeks ago. What a gentleman he was.
Class act. Solid.
Oh, look at
Southern
Rhodes.
Illinois, yeah, you got to get those.
Jack would be very proud of his Cats tonight.
They got that drive named after him, don't they? Jack Hartman drive right by the little bang. They got an offensive one on Dyes. He can't get it going, can he?
No, he has not been in the flow at all. Billy, do you leave him in here or do you go ahead and pull him for a while?
I think they got to take him out, but the ability defensively to be in position, and that will certainly get the attention of the officials. That's a Dyes clear out. Everybody else sort of scoops around the back. He plants one.
Indiana, another possession down by 12. Turner,
Good fake.
Odell, the block. Gladness has it. Draws the foul underneath as he used the iron to seal everybody off.
Yeah, not a bad play at all as Odell makes a good cut to the 3-second area. Made sure he didn't make a mistake, gave it up. Gladness has stepped up early in the first half. Bob took him out, and then his reaction since has been scintillating.
Well, Missouri survives tonight. How about Temple turning around and losing to a very solid Penn team that gave the Jayhawks a scare recently?
Yeah, Freddie Dunphy, year in and year out, pounding them out.
That's what those city rivalries are all about, though, huh?
The Big Five, they don't play one another each year. They rotate it.
10-point game, 10:35 remaining. So Indiana has just about done as well as you possibly could in the comeback effort.
And Bob, they're switching those diagonal exchanges, and they got caught early in the game not doing that. Now they caused the walk, and that's the step up you expect from Indiana. Now K-State has to get composure. You lean on Chris Griffin now.
Tony Kitt picked up his dribble early there. Got a little skitterish with the feet, and here we go. Guyton for three. Well, long. Gladness more of a force. I think it was Gladness. Yeah, touching it last. It goes back to the Cats.
Well, the one thing you notice with Indiana now, they're settling deep, and it's got them back in it. They need somebody to help them on the offensive end down in the box area. Get to the foul line, something they've done over the years better than their opponent.
Paco is back. A couple of minutes ago, he asked Tom to take him out of the game because he was feeling nauseous.
Dribble exchange. And the switch, you see the switch, and it caused the walk with it. And Tom Asbury a little upset. You don't want empty trips holding 10 against Indiana. This is a big barrier when you think of it. As a player and as a coach, get under 10. Now you think, well, let's tee it up, pal.
And of course, with the three, it's just over a three-possession game. Here's Lewis, squares up, drills it.
Great screen. Two of them staggered and coming to his shooting hand as well. Well designed.
It's a three-possession game now. Indiana down by 8. The fans in red are on their feet, and Rhodes gets grabbed by Odell.
And Rhodes is interesting. That time he went to his left side. They hugged him for the jumper. Obviously the scouting and the discussion at halftime.
Groves on top for Kitt. Now Griffin.
Good show by Gladness and then recovery.
Rhodes thought about the three. Flashes by Gladness. Can't knock it down. Gladness with the loose ball for the Hoosiers.
Quickness to the pill by William.
13 rebounds now for Gladness. He's come alive in that department.
Oh, Rhodes with a nice help. Boy, does he play the whole game, Bob.
Guyton. Kansas State with Cortez Groves picking it up. Clock running under 9 minutes to go in an 8-point game. Indiana was down 16 at the half. Paco May. Guyton the touch. He's got it. Here's Lewis.
Oh, you can't be in a hurry. That's a big trip. Wait for everybody to get set.
He's about to be taken out of the game as Dane Fife goes to the scorer's table, and Cortez Groves makes it hurt at the other end.
Does that change it?
4-point swing there to get it back to 10, 59-49.
K-State comes up with big plays, though. Defensively, the steal and the finish.
Odell the kick for Gladness.
Yeah, good call. I thought they were going to be induced, but
Yeah, Kit was moving.
Yeah, he ran up and under, put the hands in. Just a little self-control there when you're in that scoring area. Once again, Gladness in the center of things. Good, strong cut to that foul area.
Gladness to the line. High-scoring TCU night again with 94.
It's Tubbs ball, huh? Billy likes to load him up, lock and load.
William Gladness had 4 points at the half with 5 rebounds. Now he's got double-figure rebounds, and that was his 10th point. So he's got the double-double, and he's given them the inside game they needed to open up some things for the outside game.
And only 13 minutes in that first half, so Bob wasn't happy with his play, but boy, he has certainly stepped it up.
59-51. Dice with the pick.
Look at this double. They string that out. Looking for a timeout. That's a defensive stop, so no change in the arrow.
There was sole possession. As the new rule kicks in right there.
Good rule, too, don't you believe?
That's a good one.
Right here, you see it again, Bob. And now everybody gambles. They zone up behind, so May doesn't have a good view.
7:54 remaining. Tom Asbury's Cats have been in control all night long. Is it slipping away now? By 8, long way to go, almost 8 minutes in this one. Records, only the Dolphins have a winning record down the stretch for the Broncos. ESPN and ABC, your exclusive home for NFL primetime football.
And Bob, Sims, Dies, and Kim on the floor now, and Kim brings that competitiveness. They got to step it up a notch now.
Dane Fife with the entry down low. Oh, Gladness. What a second half he's having.
Footwork and a little back off there by Dies.
William Gladness, 13 points, 13 rebounds.
Sort of a move you Dies for.
Oh. Well, Bob's been dying to see that all night long from his inside game. Josh Kim, he will switch it. Groves the entry. Take it away.
How about that? Fife with the denial. One thing, you've got to know how to play post defense. You never know where you're going to be there, no matter what size you are.
This is the closest they've been since the halfway mark of the first half. Down by 6. A.J. Guyton for Turner.
Kim
snuffed it out.
He hadn't made a mistake, Jared, until that point.
Jared Odell has not played much. Tom Asbury wants a 30-second timeout. That'll be the second one he has spent tonight.
I think May got hurt, so he didn't call a 30.
Okay.
And look at this play. It's unbelievable. Nice little screening, what it can do for you. Look at that drop when you got foul problems. Little sweet kiss, and Dies behind. And post rub.
Paco May not feeling too well. Oh, a switch from the right side. And that Cortez Groves with a deuce. That gives him 9. Cats by 8.
And Bob, that was not good defense. Turner did not get out on the screen.
Can't score at the other end. Got a couple of touches on it. Will K-State survive another Indiana scare here? They got to get Paco May out of there. He is hurting for certain.
Yeah, I think they're going to get him out.
In fact, they're going to get 3 others out with him. 4 Cats at the table. High pick from Dice. Cortez Groves around Turner. Sims almost looked away before he caught the pass.
He's got that Barkley type of body, and Gladness gets the foul, but that 3-quarters been effective for him. The deflection.
William Gladness with his 3rd. 6-team foul against Indiana. 4 Cats leave. The only one who stays, Cortez Groves. Paco May feeling badly over there. Here's Groves for Rhodes. Looking to turn. Odell stops him. Oh, Reed couldn't knock it down. Loose ball. Dane Fife for the Hoosiers.
What a dive by Reed that just couldn't finalize. Flashing the post. Turn and look. Back screen on the wing.
The switch to Turner, baseline left. Grove stops him through the hands of Gladness.
Nice pass.
Straight ahead. Look out, Tony Kidd.
Well, Reed, a lot of guys make the wrong selection. You certainly did good look as Josh is on the money.
Back to a 10-point Kansas State lead. They steal again. Griffin with Reed. He will miss it. Reed is there, and he gets bumped by the Hoosiers' Odell. And suddenly Kansas State dodges the Indiana momentum again.
Oh, they played some pretty good defense, but here, one of those unforced errors. You got to squeeze it, and some of the perspiration. And Josh Reed with a magnificent look, and that send it in rather easy. But here, wrestling, Griffith has responded beautifully at the point when they've needed the opportunity. The finish not pretty, but the ability
against top teams. They've lost 10 straight games to ranked teams. Their last win in '96 when they knocked off number 23 Iowa State in Ames in overtime.
Now basketball, as we know, a game of mistakes. You've got to value the basketball. Don't turn it over. Get to the free throw line and step it up on the D. And I'm sure Bob Knight is trying to get his guys. Defensively, they've responded pretty well, but offensively, once in a while, they pull the plug.
Edward Corbett, the official, will tee it up here for Josh Reed. Indiana 5 out of 12 from the line in the first half, so they've done better since. K-State came in shooting only 49% at the line.
Good. They certainly got to make close games.
Reed got them both. He has 9 on the night. He reaches his average. Michael Lewis will check back in for Indiana. Bob took him out after that turnover, remember, when he was out of control on the possession. Now he gets a chance to come back and redeem himself. More importantly, try to get his team back from a 12-point deficit.
Break here as they get the kick. Don't telegraph, and make a good sharp cut from the box area.
Well, Billy, it looks like it's no accident that Kansas State has led the Big 12 in field goal defense the last 2 years. They make the passing lanes very full.
And they also challenge everything. You see the help here. And on cue, you mentioned a turnover. Not a good one there for Indiana.
Griffin running, leaving it, but it's Turner there for Indiana. A.J. Guyton for 3, way out there. Loose ball, Cats have numbers, 2-on-1, Griffin, 2 from Kidd. The block by Guyton, another one by Haston, and here comes Lewis.
Nice little play by Guyton. Great defensive stand, showing a lot of heart.
65-55, 4:20 remaining. The winner of this game plays the winner of Arizona State, Utah, coming up next on the Deuce.
See, now that's not good selection. I got to run your stuff. Get a little bit of a break here.
Rhodes for Groves, over Haston. Cats keep it alive, and Kitt the last to touch it. Indiana basketball. And Tom Asbury has to be astounded at his team's lack of patience on that possession.
But how about the effort, though? They sustained it going after the rebound. But you're right. You run your stuff now. Don't slow it down, but give some bumps. They got a nice corner jumper off a screen. Don't come down and just jack it up. Get yourself in a hole.
Well, their offensive scheme is running sets into motion. What they did there was just start running and gunning. Guyton up on top for Haston.
Turn and look, and nobody's shaping underneath.
Recker back in for IU. They've got to get something from Luke.
And no threat inside right now.
Lewis got Kim off the floor. Recker gets Reed off the floor. Well off, no iron. Haston got it.
Well, he went to the rim. Now, he's got a little offense down there. We mentioned the ability to jump hook, but staying around the rim, big break for Indiana.
Down by 8. 3:20 remaining. Haston the near steal. Then a foul.
Get a little excited, and right now you can see the bench. Tom Asbury, Mark Fox up over there, and they want guys to come to the basketball and bail the passer out.
We've seen one upset in Maui today. Michigan knocking off number 24 Clemson. 59-56. They'll play Syracuse tomorrow. Could we have another upset here with the unranked Wildcats knocking off number 13 Indiana?
Good effort.
Sean Rhodes has not scored in the second half. Odell comes away with it for the Hoosiers.
Use your bumps. And they're going to hold on the cut. That's what's good. You got to give some activity. I think Guyton will be the guy on the line.
Josh Kim with his second. 9 team fouls on K-State. A.J. Guyton, you see Luke Recker in the background there. Number 4. He's 2 out of 8 from the field in this game.
They're up on him and he's rushing it.
Right in that frame, Billy. The 2 guys that got to get it done shooting-wise for the Hoosiers. And A.J.'s got 19 now.
Guyton can do a lot of things off the bounce. But you still, with their philosophy, have to use your screen, set your man up. Get the right angle to use the dribble.
So that's 20 for Guyton. Recker has 7 without scoring in the second half. 3 minutes remaining. Knights Hoosiers down.
And by AC Delco Automotive Parts. AC Delco. If you're not asking for it, you're asking for it.
Well, it's almost sundown here in Maui. 5:45 local time. Wherever you are, we hope you're safe and warm watching the Maui Invitational. Bob Carpenter, Bill Raftery from Lahaina. Bob Knights Hoosiers down by 6. 3 minutes to go. This should be a fascinating finish with K-State trying desperately to hold on. Indiana, the comeback kids here in the second half.
You've got to be cerebral. Tom Asbury's winding the finger saying motion. Got to have poise, take your time, get yourself in position to get a good one.
And that means at least 4 to 5 passes normally.
And they're into throws here now. Using the bumps a little bit. Nice front to box.
Paco May for Chris Griffin. The drive off a Dye's pick. Haston. And was it Lewis last touching it?
And Rhodes got away with one there, I thought. I thought he knocked it out. Mike, the shorter of the 2, unable to convert. Nice turn of the corner. Defense responds. Nice little play by Haston.
Looked like Lewis had it, and maybe Rhodes knocked it out of his hands. Michael certainly thought so. Tough entry pass right under the iron, and a turnover by the Cats. Their 20th of the game.
You got to be strong. Michael Lewis got beat, was able to body him under the rim where he touched the line.
Indiana could get it back to 3 with 2.5 minutes remaining.
Might look for Guyton or Recker.
There's A.J.
Got to give him something.
Recker posting up. Lewis, such a good passer.
Well, they left the ball.
Yeah, Dye's left.
Oh, my
That's
goodness.
a 3!
Of all people, A.J., you got to tag him.
2 minutes remaining, 3-point game.
Now you find out who wants the shot. This guy does.
Rhodes, short. Rebound, Luke Recker. Indiana could tie the game.
Now they got to exhibit patience. They got Guyton moving before. They got to get Recker moving.
A.J. for Lewis.
More off the screen and the cut than the dribble.
Guyton looking at 2 Cats, switches it.
They don't play Recker.
And the game is tied.
Wow. 2 major mistakes on the 2 offensive threats. It's incredible. I think most people had them dead on delivery. Able to respond by motion offense. And right here, a little hand in the passing lane, then they leave one of the extraordinary threats in the country. And one of the more talented sophomores you'll see. Another one by using the bumps. And that's the cerebral end. You've got to have poise out there. Unfortunately, Rhodes did get a good look for Tom Asbury. He was unable to convert at the other end. So they got to run their stuff now. And maybe designate who they would like to run it for as you reset for us, Bob.
Timeouts remaining, each team with 3. One more Kansas State foul, and Indiana will shoot a couple. A lot of folks from the Hoosier State are here. Indiana led 3-0 and 3-2 after an A.J. Guyton early shot. It's the last time they've led. The runs got them back even. Oh, man, what a final 80 seconds this will be.
Look for a screen and a lock inside. Someone Dye's loading up there.
Good switch.
See if they can get it to him.
Turnover.
Not a good play as Josh gets caught up.
And the switch by the big man, Kirk Hastings, set that up for Indiana.
Well, they had not done a good job defensively in the first half. Now they're responding to exchange beautifully.
Tom Asbury shuttles out Dyes, brings in Tony Kitt to rebound. Indiana could take the lead here as we get down to the final minute. A 16-point second half comeback, and Chris Griffin with a cheapie out at midcourt.
And not a good one last year. What,
That's their 10th team foul, too.
Yeah, and 83% last year, only 66 thus far this year. But and you're right, 2 automatics. And right there, a little small change, but you got to get position. And in fairness, Griffith, off that left meniscus, maybe not the ability. You can just see David Campbell, the frustration, and Tom Asbury saying, why?
Michael Lewis with 10. 8 of those in the second half. Indiana, after going 5 out of 12 from the line, has hit its last 8 free throws now down the stretch. They lead by 2.
I think you've got to get a drive to the goal or a touch on the box. Kitt was a factor for a few minutes earlier. See if he gets a touch or at least gets to the glass.
Final minute. Rhodes, no. Recker, yes.
And a foul. Oh. The quick jack. Slippage.
You look at the reaction of these players. Folks, this is November 23rd. It feels like March here in Maui.
Well, you can see why Bob Knight likes this team. I mean, they're enthusiastic. Yeah, I can dance. Don't ask me.
Tom Asbury with another timeout.
He's talking to Rhodes now maybe about the quick shot under duress.
After Monday Night Football, SportsCenter is coming up on ESPN. Dolphins-Patriots, big battle in the AFC East tonight. What a dizzying day in Major League Baseball again, as Brian Jordan is $40 million richer and Robbie Alomar is $32 million richer. A change at Iowa, Hayden Fry will see the changing of an era on the gridiron in Iowa City.
Jordan's in your league.
Well, Brian Jordan, what a great kid. The Atlanta fans will love him down there.
Well,
he lives down there. But the guys from Bloomington are feeling pretty good right now, too.
Well, in a league of his own, a lot of people feel for his talent. Bob Knight, patient with his team. And Tom Asbury, just a magnificent job preparing for this game, but under pressure. Not the judgment you like or need against an Indiana team that's on the run.
If Luke Recker makes this next one, Indiana, incredibly, makes it a 2-possession game in their favor.
And think of the 2 plays where they were left alone. First Guyton, and then Recker.
Well, Kansas State could still tie it. They've missed their last 11 shots.
Got to go for 2. They go for the 3 real quick. Got to go for the 2.
Tony Kitt. He'll get to shoot a couple.
Plenty of time. You go for the 2. Play some good D. You can even give a foul if you like. Got away with that with some scrambling underneath the rim.
Kirk Hastings with his 3rd. Tony Kitt at the line came in 4 for 9 on the year. As we mentioned earlier, a very poor Kansas State shooting free throw team.
44% coming in. Ew, that was not pretty, but effective. Oh,
this to get it back to 1.
Genuflected, used the cross.
The freshman Dane 5 can't sit down. Kitt can't knock it down.
Big. 2 big rebounds. He plays bigger than he is because his heart is.
Luke Recker at 6'6", Billy talking about. 30 seconds to go. Hoosiers by 2.
I got to give it. Stop the clock. Put a little stress. Guyton, a guy that can knock him down too, 85%.
Cortez Groves on the foul, his 4th. To the line, A.J. Guyton. outstanding free throw shooter. A.J. has 14 of his 24 since halftime. And again, Indiana a chance to drop a free throw and make it a 2-possession game. That is huge.
Play solid, make it a tough catch or pass.
Kansas State another timeout.
Now, right now, they've had their difficulties, but I think at some point it's going to be a dribble drive, a May. They've been settling deep. It's a 2-possession game for them, Bob. You've got to go for 2. Inbound, get your press set, give the foul. Ideally, if you can give it 2, other than Guyton, Recker, or Lewis, but they're not going to let the big guys touch it. So time is not your pal, so you got to give it up as quickly as you can. Extend the game if you're KU. And I think Indiana's got to be real smart about solid, don't foul, play the passing lane, but be poised enough to get back and play your guy for the dribble drive, if he catches it.
24.8 seconds remaining. Kansas State only 1 free throw to show offensively down the stretch here in this game. They were up 16 at the half. Their last field goal was 5 minutes and 5 seconds ago.
The man playing the dribbler now, this place, Guyton, he can really make it tough. Rag him, don't foul him, don't get hung up, make the next pass tough, show on the screens. Aston with a good job, and they stay at home. Little switch.
Cortez Groves, Haston in front of him, flashes in, short, another chance underneath, and Tony Kitt was fouled.
I think it was Luke Recker, one of those where you don't want to give him the easy one while you make him work.
And that's the 10th team foul in Indiana. They'll shoot 2.
And there's the Haston, he did not give up on that one. Gets a piece of this, and you'll see Recker making himself available. And once again, Kidd on the free throw line where he does struggle.
Well, they're going to have to do it here. They're 0 for 13.
If he can make this one, and then they don't even have to plan on the miss, but get ready. And this helps them. Big guys should be ready, and they do. They can counter.
0 for their last 13 from the field, so they can only score at the free throw line right now. Bob Knight wants a timeout right now. Nobody sees him.
And Griffin's under the basket. I would have put Rhodes down in there to be the guy on record, just for size.
Rebound Haston.
And they give it away wisely. Haston got rid of it quickly to Lewis. He wanted it. 79% free throw shooter, Kirk, this year.
Paco May the foul. 6.2 seconds remaining. Indiana looking into the semifinals. Maybe they would play the winner of Utah, Arizona State. And just one make here will probably ice it for Indiana. Tom Asbury will use his final timeout with 6.2 to go.
The length of the game, Bob, it's incredible. Indiana with the poise to sustain it, knowing you got plenty of time. Just be aggressive, step the D up, and this, if they win, moves them on.
That Arizona State team of Rob Evans, an interesting club. They'll be taking the floor here shortly. They've got some outstanding talent on that team. Alton Mason, their sophomore point guard. Bobby Laser, an all Pac-10 guy, newcomer of the year. Eddie House, an exciting performer. And of course, Utah has the man who gets it all started. Andre Miller is back. Hano Metala, their big guy. But unfortunately, Michael Doliak is here as a spectator, not a player.
They could use him. The inexperience, some of the problems for Rick Majerus.
That's on the deuce at 11:30.
And nobody there, so they don't get an over the top on the lane for Indiana.
Haston. That is huge for Indiana. A 2-point game. Now Bob Knight can call the timeout.
What a tough one this will be for Tom Asbury. I mean, they did everything but put it away. And Indiana, is Bob getting too old to handle these kind of finishes? The Silky Sullivan, huh? Indiana State probably thought they had a rocker.
Yeah. Are you kidding? Bob Knight lives for these situations.
Now Mike Swanson comes up with some stuff. Are you ready for this one? Since the graphic on the last KU win over Indiana, IU's been on an 11-1 run. You think there was somebody calling the bench?
I don't know. They've lost 10 straight to ranked teams, 8 in a row to Indiana. It looked like they were going to get it done, but maybe not.
And Swanee needs some help, too.
ESPN News is coming up when we finish this one up. And don't forget, 11:30 Eastern time tonight. We'll join you on the Deuce for Arizona State and Utah. That should be a Western dandy. Haston. Well, he got the important one.
Big thing now, do not foul.
Groves for three. Clock stops, 0.3 to go. All Indiana's got to do is get it in, and they have the W.
That's incredible. Well, you got the gray hair. You got to have a strong heart for Bob Knight. I mean, they did everything but beat you, and I'm sure he's telling Tom that. No solace for Tom Asbury, but if they can take this onward, they are going to be some factor in their conference.
The Big 12 ought to be very proud of the Cats, but they couldn't close the deal tonight. So Indiana gets 25 from A.J. Guyton. They get a big second half from William Gladness and beat Kansas State 71-70. For Bill Raftery and our entire ESPN crew here in Lahaina, Maui, Bob Carpenter. ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Hope you enjoyed it. At 11:30 Eastern, ASU and Utah on the Deuce. ESPN News is coming up next.